Oh my gracious. Hey guys, what is going on? It is RC Knockout and I am once again back with another video. Now, if this is your very first time tuning into my channel, my name is Nolan, and in today's video I have got my HPI Baja 5T out with me. And in today's video we need to diagnose and hopefully fix some major problems that we have with this machine. Now, I crashed this thing in the last video. Now let me explain real quick what happened, a little bit of a backstory. If you didn't watch that video, I highly recommend you check it out. I'll put a card in the corner. But what was happening in that video is I was trying to pull myself with my gas-powered HPI Baja 5T. I was pulling myself in a radio flyer wagon, and it was working out really well. My mom was helping me film that video, and in the process of filming that video, I handed the controller to my mom in exchange for the camera she was holding. But in that transaction of swapping the transmitter for the camera, when I handed the transmitter to my mom, she accidentally grabbed it and was holding onto the throttle. So unfortunately, this RC was still running. It took off, and before I had a chance to pull the controller back out of her hand, the thing crashed basically full speed, or was going full throttle anyway, full throttle right into a trailer, a full-size trailer. So we damaged the chassis pretty severely. This thing needs a whole new chassis, and that pretty much put an end to our testing. But here's what's going on with the chassis. It's currently running this DDM racing chassis. It's a light and aluminum chassis, but we cracked it. So it's more than cracked, it's broken. So the front part right there, which I know is a weak point on these HPI chassis, that broke, which is why the whole thing's tweaked completely out of whack. So this right here needs repaired. I was going to buy another one of these racing ones for like 100, 115, but I thought to myself, this is such a heavy build already. Why am I trying to do any type of weight saving? So I went ahead and I was looking for an authentic HPI Baja one. Unfortunately, with the production issues that HPI has, I couldn't find any online, so I found the next best thing, which is a Roven chassis, which, if you don't know, Roven and also King Motors, those are clone brands. So they make basically identical clone to the authentic HPI Baja 5Bs and 5Ts, and I suppose 5SCs too, maybe. But yeah, it's basically the same thing, and I got this for a pretty cheap price. So at the very least, we're going to have to swap everything, the gas tank, receiver box, everything steering into this, and swap out of that. But the bigger worry I have is that there's something else possibly damaged up front, because this is basically an all aluminum build. The whole front bulkhead's aluminum. So, and the whole front got smashed in. So I'm a little bit worried something might be tweaked up here. So if we got some tweaked aluminum parts, I'm probably not going to be able to bend that back into shape. So we might have some stuff that's not going to line up when I try to line it up with the new chassis. I wouldn't be a bit surprised that top plate could be tweaked. We're just going to have to see. So this is the only thing I knew for sure needed to be replaced. So that's the only piece I ordered. We're not going to know until I dig into this today if I can salvage everything else, or if we're going to actually have to buy some more new parts and finish it in a later video. But that's what we're doing today, guys. So let me go ahead, set this camera up, set it down, get it in position, and hopefully get this thing fixed up so we can hopefully try this out again with pulling myself. So yeah, let me set the camera up. Be right back with you guys. Let's go ahead. I'm going to flip it over. Hopefully no gas leaks out, but it might. We're going to get this front skid off so we can actually see the actual damage under there, and then start removing what we can off the front bulkhead. So get these two off. All right, got one of them. Set that aside. Let's undo the other one. There we go. Got the second one out. Now, does this go backwards or forward? I can never remember. I haven't worked on this thing in so long. I think this pops forward. There we go. I just unpopped that, and here's the chassis. It broke completely. There's the front piece of the chassis right here. That's supposed to be connected. So let me get this bumper off. I got the whole front bumper section and everything off. This is just plastic, so the plastic might have gotten bent up a little bit, but as long as it didn't break, I think the front bumper and all this is okay. But this is a little worrying. Like I said, this completely broke. This is the front part of the chassis. So when you look up underneath it here, here's what we're looking at. So this is definitely a weak spot. I probably should have gotten some type of brace. I know they sell some braces or something that goes on here, kind of like for reinforcement. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start, probably disconnect. I don't know. I might do some of this off camera. I'm just going to start disconnecting stuff and see if we can get this front bulkhead completely disconnected from the chassis and see if everything's still in line or if it itself is actually tweaked. So more disassembly, that'll tell us more. All right, after a bit more disassembly, this is where I'm at. I can tell you one of the screws did break. Where was the head of one of the screws? One of the screws broke. It's the one that it broke right down in there. You can see that. So I'm going to have to try to extract that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. We will see. As for it being tweaked, it's still kind of hard to tell. It definitely looks like this right here. The whole shock tower definitely looks like it is still tweaked. Like I'd have to completely bend it. I'd have to use something and pull it and bend it back this direction because that's bent. And here's the top plate, which I was a little bit worried about. And sure enough, it is slightly bent. Maybe I can fix this though. I mean, it's not terribly bent. I mean, it's bent, but I mean, most of the big bend is right up here on the front part where my finger is. That I can probably bend back into shape. I'm going to have to do a little bit more disassembly. I'm just going to have to see if I can get that screw right there extracted. And I'm going to have to see if I can get these, I guess it'd be the shock tower support braces that are bent. They're bent this way because of the impact. I'd have to bend them back this way. So we'll see what I can do. I'll be back with you guys once I find out more. Like I thought, this is pretty... Fortunately, I think the shocks are all right, but... this screw right here was bent. This was the screw holding the shock in place, so that broke off in there. I think everything with this is slightly tweaked to the point where I don't know if I can salvage these pieces right here, the supports anyway, because the supports, even after trying to bend them, they're still bent out of shape. Everything's just tweaked, you know, which is what I expected. I expected with aluminum stuff's going to be tweaked, but some of this stuff's not going to be bent back into shape. Like, I'm not going to be able to bend some of this, at least not perfectly back into shape, which is the issue. So that might mean I need to order some parts, unfortunately. I can at least get majority of this stuff swapped onto the new chassis. But yeah, this front bulkhead, I can work on it a little bit more, but it looks like it's pretty well done. This piece might be okay, but if I'm going to go replace everything else, that might have even a little bit of tweak to it. Like, it looks like the bottom part right here, it looks like it could still possibly be ever so tweaked. It's hard to tell, but I think it could be tweaked like here at the bottom. And it's just so hard to try to straighten that stuff. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. By the time this video is out, I'll probably already have it repaired, but still. Give me your input. Let me know what you think. It was a hard hit. A lot of damage. So I've done a lot more disassembly at this point. Don't mind all the grass and all the crap on the ground. That was all the grass that you can never get out that gets wedged up underneath the motor. That all fell out. But I was able to get the chassis, the channel chassis removed from the rear plate. So this is what we're left with. And kind of as I had feared, the damage seems like it's pretty significant, where I think everything's still off kilter to the point where I was trying to bend these, but I don't think I'm going to be able to bend them back. These are the issues, the braces. But I'm not a bit surprised. Everything still looks out of whack with this too. Stuff doesn't look lined up, so I might have to replace the entire front bulkhead. Still don't actually know about the arms. The suspension arms might be okay, and the hub carriers. Steering carriers might be all right. I mean, it's really hard to tell if those got bent. The one that would have gotten hit would be this side right here. So it's just hard just eyeing it. But yeah, definitely something looks out of whack and crooked right here. Because these aren't in line. They're not in line anymore. That brace right here that goes across, that's not in line. That shouldn't look like that. You can see the top and the bottom are not parallel completely to each other. They should be completely in line. They're not. I'm going to go ahead and get this new one out. Get the stuff I can get in. So I'll put the receiver box in the new one. Get this new channel chassis bolted up to the rear plate. Here we go. Got the new one out. It's really cool. I like the color of it. It's almost like a gunmetal. I don't know if it's gunmetal or titanium colored, but it looks super cool. I like it. As you can see, it's pretty well identical to the chassis that's coming off of this, except for this one's a lightened one. As you can see, it has all these cutouts for extra material removed for it to be lighter. This one's basically identical from the side, just doesn't have all that cutout there, which I'm fine with. But this is the vulnerable spot right here where this upturn is, where it's bent. This is the vulnerable spot where it breaks, and that is exactly what happened in our situation. It completely broke it. But then on top of that, tweaked the whole front end pretty severely. I still don't know about the... I'm not going to know about the... I don't think I'm going to know about the steering carriers and the actual suspension arms till I replace the bulkhead, because the bulkhead's so out of whack and so tweaked that... I I mean, they're just so messed up that I'm not going to be able to bend that back into shape. Just look at how kittywampus that is, guys. Like, all of this stuff should be, like, perfectly parallel and in line with each other. As you can see right here, like, something's bent on this piece, too. This piece right here is bent, because this is all just out of whack. It's hard to tell probably on camera, but in person, it's pretty easy to tell that this stuff is not all lined up anymore. It's pretty well completely tweaked, which is what my fear was. So the whole front bulkhead's going to have to be replaced. I'll probably get a whole new aluminum front bulkhead. The supporting pieces, I'll probably just end up buying a new aluminum shock tower, the shock tower braces, which these are what's messed up the most, these shock tower braces, the front and the back. And then I'll probably just order all new pieces for the front. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get the gas tank and the receiver box mounted back up into this new chassis right here. I am back. I thought I was wrapping up the video earlier, but I actually found a few parts that I had laying around that I didn't realize I had. So first off, I found a new top plate. This one's not as thick as the one that got bent. Where's the one that got bent? Oh, here it is. Here's the top plate that got bent right here. This one's a much thicker one, but I mean, I don't know if it really matters if it's thick, because if I crash it, thick one's still going to bend. So I've got more of a stock. I don't think it's a stock one, but it's more of a stock. It's much thinner, but I'll be able to use that. And then the other thing I found is I did have this stock one right here. So this is a stock plastic shock tower, which obviously that's not going to be as strong as this. It'll just break and shatter if I crash into something. But I'm still going to retain the aluminum arms. From what I can tell, they still look like they're straight. So I'll use this bulkhead rather than this one. On top of that, stripped another screw right here. So that one I can't get out. And on top of that, this is tweaked ever so slightly too. It's hard to tell, but this metal piece right here is tweaked. Not this one, I don't think, but this one is. So this one's also no point in trying to extract it. That's no good. And then here's the biggest thing, because here's the bottom piece of the front bulkhead. That still appears to be flat and straight, but here's a piece that bolts onto it. And this is where we have quite a bit of like a torque that happened. Like, it clearly got tweaked pretty severely, where this is no longer anywhere close to straight. It also looks like one of the upper pins got ever so slightly bent. So one of the upper pins that went through here got bent ever so slightly. So I got to get a new pin, but I do have a new upper shock tower right here that I'm starting to put together with the new whatever these side support pieces are called. So we will have that. It's not going to be as strong, obviously, but I mean, I'm trying to put this back together. And then, let's see, is this piece? Yeah, then we have a plastic one of these pieces right here that I'll be able to use. I think I have everything to actually put it back together. Oh, also I noticed this right here is tweaked as well. This is the back part. I don't know what piece this is. This came off something off the back of the upper. This came from back behind the bulkhead. This came from like right here. So this piece is tweaked. You might be able to tell that it's tweaked. It's not supposed to look like that. And on top of that, that one has a screw broken in it. So all the aluminum pieces on the front bulkhead basically got tweaked, which is kind of what I thought would happen. When you hit something as hard as it is, it's usually some sort of underlying damage. So keep in mind, guys, if you're trying to do an aluminum build, it doesn't always work out for the better, because stuff just twists and you can't really get it bent back into shape. I mean, you can try. Maybe I can get it to the point where I get the holes to line up, but it's not worth it in my mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue working off camera and hopefully get this thing back together just using more stock parts. And it's going to have a stock front bulkhead, but hopefully we'll get it all back together. And then we'll have this thing out ripping again. So thanks for watching. See you later. I am back for another update. At this point, I basically have it all back together. It looks like the suspension arms are all right. The front, I do have a front braking system with disc brakes on this. That screw right there broke, and unfortunately I can't get that extracted. So there's only the bottom screw holding this caliper on. So we might have issues there. But otherwise, I got it all back together, this time with just a stock plastic bulkhead. We'll see if the plastic bulkhead holds up. The only thing I have to do now at this point is get the cage back on. But yeah, I'm surprised the bumper never broke, but maybe it never hit the bumper. It might have just hit the wheel. But then I'm also surprised then the wheel didn't ever break. Because I don't see any contact point where it actually hit the trailer with the shock, or sorry, with the actual suspension arm. but I also don't see where it hit on the bumper, so that means the tire would have been the thing that hit, but the suspension arms are still looking straight. Still looks like the tires are pointed pretty much straight. Obviously got everything switched to this new gunmetal chassis. Just got to get that bottom cover back on. And like I said, get the cage back on and she'll be ready to go. Doesn't really feel any lighter, even though I did swap over to an aluminum, or from aluminum to a plastic bulkhead. But we'll have the thing back out and going here hopefully pretty soon. So thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, see you later.